back and I'm going to do the systems of linear equations. Now, system of linear equations, how do we go ahead solving these? There are two ways that are going to be on your test, and you get to pick either one that you want to do. You can solve doing elimination or substitution. In some cases, substitution is a better bet than elimination, like in this one. Why is this one better? This one is better because if you look at my if you look at my system here of equations that I have going on, notice that y is solved for you. So this is an easier time to use substitution if possible. Okay. If you have x and y together, then usually you want to use elimination. You will have these and you have your choice. You will also have to graph one. There will be no inconsistent or dependent systems, meaning you should always get an answer for these problems, like an x and a y. So using substitution, I'm going to take this part and plug this in here where I see y. So I get 6x plus 6 times negative 4x minus 14 is equal to negative 30. So I just went ahead and plugged in what this y was in for that y right there. You know you did it correctly because you have all same variables. Okay, you don't have any y's and x's in here at all. Now, I'm going to distribute that in, and I get 6x plus negative 24x minus 84 is equal to negative 30. Now, combine these two like terms, which is possible. You get negative 18x minus 84 is equal to negative 30. Okay? Add 84. Add 84 here. You end up with positive 54 is equal to negative 18x. Divide by negative 18. Divide by negative 18. Now, you should end up with the answer x is equal to negative 3. So I have x, but I don't have y. So how am I going to find it? Go back here, take that second equation, y equals negative 4x minus 14, and plug in x. It's already solved for you. So y equals negative 4x minus 14. I'm going to plug this in. Y equals negative 4 times negative 3 minus 14 gives me positive 12 minus 14. This ends up being y is equal to negative 2. Now, some teachers don't mind if you circle your answers like this, but some really want you to put them like an ordered pair, like this, x and y, okay? You should know by now which one of the teachers that you have, if you can get away with just the first ones, or if you need to put them like an ordered pair. So don't go into there not knowing what that means. Okay, this one says solve the following system of equations. Now, this is a better example of elimination. But if you wanted to do substitution, you could just get this y by itself by adding the 4x onto the other side. That would go ahead and get you substitution. What do I mean? It would look like y equals 4x plus 1, and then you go plug that in there. But we're not going to do that. We're going to do elimination. So elimination is where you add or subtract these. And in this case, I want to add them. Why? These two are opposites. They will cancel out. 1y and 4y will give you 5y. 1 and negative 16 will give you minus 15. Divide by 5 on either side. Y is equal to negative 3. And you might be thinking, wow, that was a lot faster. This depends on how the problem's set up, which way is going to be easier, okay? So y equals negative 3. I got to find x. So I get to go back to either one of these and pick which one I want to use to find x. It's up to you. Most people do the first one. So if I'm going to do the first one, I get negative 4x, but I don't know what that is, plus negative 3, I'm just putting it in parentheses to show I'm substituting it in, is equal to 1. Negative 4x minus 3 equals 1. Add my 3. I add my 3 on the other side. What is going on here? I add my 3. There we go. Okay, and I get negative 4x is equal to 4. So, I go down and I divide now. Divide by negative 4x. I get x is equal to negative 1. So I have x is equal to negative 1. And I have y is equal to negative 3 if I want to make it a point. Negative 1, comma, negative 3. Just like that, no problem there. Okay. Let's go ahead and look at this next problem. Let's find the x and y intercept for the given equation. Well, as you might have been taught, the x and y intercept are where they cross the x and y axes. In this case, I'm going to show you a little trick. If you notice, 7 times 8 is 56. Your teacher's probably going to give you an easy one like that. Like something like 3x minus 5y is equal to 15. Something where they multiply to get the answer. So to find the y-intercept, you let x be 0, okay? So I get 7 times 0 plus 8y equals 56. It goes away. 8y equals 56. Divide by 8. Divide by 8. Y is equal to 7. Okay? So this is the point 0, 7. Now I'm going to do it to find the x-intercept. So the x-intercept, I do the complete opposite. I let y be 0. So I get 7x plus 8 times 0 equals 56. Cancels. 7x is equal to 56. Divide by 7. Divide by 7. And x is equal to 8. So in this case, I get the opposite, which is what you expect. I get 8, 0. That's how you find the intercepts. Now this next one says, graph the line containing these 2 points. Find slope. So we do not have to use the slope formula to do this, okay? If I want to go ahead and graph these, negative 2, 1 is right here, okay? 7, negative 3 is over here, about right there. Draw my line as best as I can. Sorry about this dot on the negative 4, that wasn't meant to be there. But this is my line. So to find the slope, I go between these 2 points. Well, how much down and over did this go? It went down 4, and it went over 9. So this is negative 4 over 9. Remember, we talked about earlier, how do I know when it's, what do I do whenever it's a negative slope? You go down. So if your graph is going down, like this one is, your slope is negative, just like this. Can I reduce that fraction? No. So I'm finished with the problem. Okay. Number 12 says find the equation of a line that passes through these 2 points. This is a 2-step process. I need to go ahead and do the slope formula, and then I need to go ahead and do slope intercept to get this, let's get the answer for this, okay? Or point slope to get it in the slope intercept. So find my slope formula. First things first, okay? And it's equal to this. x1, y1, whoops, that's a 1, x2, y2, okay? So this ends up being negative 2 minus 5 over 9 minus 0. Negative 2 minus 5 ends up with negative 7 over 9. Don't worry that that's not a really pretty fraction, okay? It's going to be all right. Now I'm going to use point slope. Y minus y1 equals m, x minus x1. You get to pick which one of these 2 points you want. You don't necessarily have to pick the first one, but let's do it because it's a rather easy point. So y minus 5, my y1, is equal to negative 7 over 9, x minus 0. Well, if I go ahead and distribute this in, I get negative 7 over 9x. The 0 thing, nothing happens. It just is not there. Y minus 5. Okay? Now, I want to go ahead and bring over the 5. I'm not going to combine it to the fraction because I can't do that. Y is equal to negative 7 over 9x plus 5. That is my final answer for my equation. And slope-intercept, remember slope-intercept is y equals mx plus b. Okay? I could have also realized that 0, 5 is the y-intercept and just have gone to the step. I wanted to show you an example involving point slope. Now, this next one is asking, determine if this ordered pair is a solution to the system. How do you do that? Plug it in. 6 times 4 plus 3 times negative 1 minus 7 equals 0. You need to see, does this work? You also need to test the second one. Even if it works for the first one, it doesn't mean it always works for the second one. So I get 4 times 4 equals -3, -1. Hey, this is 16. This is 3. That's not going to happen. So this is definitely not a solution. But definitely always check that second one. I see students get tricked. The first one works, they think it's a yes. The second one doesn't. Okay? If you got the same thing, like 0 equals 0, 2 equals 2, something like that, then it does work. But we didn't. We got different stuff on each side. Okay, last but not least, let's do this graphing systems of equations. They want us to tell you if it's consistent, inconsistent, independent. The thing is, neither of these will be on the test. Inconsistent is whenever you had a graph, and your graph ended up being parallel lines, they didn't cross. Dependent was whenever you did a graph, and you just have one line. Okay, so we're not dealing with those issues. Let's go ahead and graph this. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and graph this. The first one, I'm going to do this one, okay? I'm going to start at the 6, put a dot. My slope is 4 over 1. So I go up 4 and over 1. So up 4 over 1, right there. That's the first line. This first one, 1. Now the second one. This is number 2. Using the kind of bluish. I'm going to start at the 6, okay? But my slope tells me to go up 2 and over 1. So I go up 2, over 1, right there. A little bit more slanted, like this. This is number 2. So where do they intersect? That's the intersection. 0, comma 6. This point is your answer. That is your solution. Where do they intersect? Now let's say they intersected out here somewhere. Keep going. Try to make sure you got the right number, okay? I just want to say when you're going into this test, be careful with your graphing. Make sure that you are careful with, your adding and subtracting. You have a lot of math on this test that you have to do by hand or with a calculator. So please be aware of that and study hard. Remember, the best way to pass the test is by doing a lot of practice problems. So keep practicing. Use my video for guidance. And thank you and good luck.